Welcome to the Protagonist seat,
Welcome to the Protagonist seat.
the only podcast that doesn't have a strong opinion.
The only podcast.
Yeah, the only podcast that doesn't have a strong opinion on anything.
On anything whatsoever.
We have no strong opinions here.
Everything is fine.
It's all fine.
It is all decent. Whatever.
I'm Alex, that's Ian. We're not
Hello.
even sure.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I could be Ian.
Yeah.
I could be Tyler.
Yeah, and again,
I'm
you know
not
what?
Tyler.
I
wanna
don't
be
think about
Tyler.
it too hard. I have no real opinion on whether you are or you aren't.
I moderately don't want to be Tyler.
But anyway, this bit is wearing thin already.
Yeah. Let's talk about Fire Force, shall we?
We're here to talk about anime. You know the rules. Welcome to 2019.
You know the rules.
Also, we're doing a My Hero thing, so if anyone is interested in My Hero Academia,
check out our YouTube page for the After Hours.
after class.
After class, that's
Yeah.
what it's called.
Protagonist Seat After Class, where we have our good friend Tea Time for Two on, and we talk just about My Hero. Spoiler alert for the previous episode, nothing fucking happens because it's a recap episode.
Yeah, soft recaps.
So, but going forward, if you want to hear about My Hero Academia, just check out that.
And if you want to know what our friend Tyler sounds like,
Yeah, that's the spicy part.
he talks at least a couple times.
Also, we are doing it through like a Skype call, so our audio quality is a bit different.
Is a little funky.
It's a little funky.
But you know what? That's fine.
It's all good.
You know what else is fine? Fire Force.
Fire Force stays consistently fine, although I am getting a little tired of this arc.
Yeah, I think we've been spending a little bit too much time with Benny Morrow and the dudes. And the bros.
I'm like not super into the I don't know, the politics of Fire Force.
I'm ready to go back to like actual city.
I'm ready to go back to I don't know, I feel like we haven't even had really decent the whole opening is them fighting fire monsters and they almost never do it.
Yeah.
And if they do, it's they hit it once and it's dead.
Yeah.
It's just them fighting other firefighters. That should be the opening.
I mean, that'd be pretty cool. Add a new firefighter every week. Have a firefighter of the week formula.
I mean, yeah, because currently they're going to fight the evangelists, but
Yeah.
they're doing that now, finally.
Finally the freaking white knights of the evangelist are coming, and we're gonna take them out. We gotta kick them with the fire feats and slash them with the blue lightsabers.
Yeah, last week we found out that why the former captain can't use his fire powers anymore because he carbonized.
He carbonized.
Yeah, and that's why Benny is captain.
Yeah. And this week, Benny walks outside, and just everyone is having doppelganger troubles.
Yeah, so everyone's having the doppelganger problem. He's like, that's weird. There can't be this many coincidences in one night.
And he finally kind of fucking gets it.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden the evangelists spread infernals all throughout the city. They're like everywhere.
All of them.
And they're the 8th is walking around with the former captain.
They're just walking around.
And then they see the two of the girls fighting, two of the twins.
I actually did think this was kind of funny.
Yeah, I did like this part because they're like, no, she's the fake. And they're like, hey, both of you calm down. Arthur's like, huh. And he goes over and he knees one of them in the face. And they're like, holy shit.
Arthur, what the fuck?
You just hit a kid.
And he's like, it's obvious. That's an old man dressed up as a child. And everyone's like, what?
Yeah, what the fuck?
Are you stupid?
And then it turns out he was right.
Arthur somehow figured it out.
And yeah, then it turns out he was like one of the cultists and he infernalizes himself.
Yeah.
Also, they can't put anyone down here because they don't follow the same religion, so it wouldn't be right.
And they also don't have like an official sister to put people down, except for that one time where they infernalized that guy infernalized himself, and then the lieutenant just fucking shoots him a whole bunch of times.
Yeah, but he was a piece of shit. He wasn't like, an innocent victim.
Yeah, no one cares about that dude. Fuck him.
And then they start getting shot at by the archer person that killed the crazy guy from the first.
The sniper.
Yeah, so they go after the sniper. It's Shinra and Arthur, and then they get into a big fight with them, and they're actually winning.
Yeah.
So the knife guy does a desperate move, and he eats one of the bugs.
Yep. And Arthur and Shinra finally realize we need formations if we're gonna like do the whole team fighting thing.
Even though we've seen them successfully do a team fight before, which is why I'm like, why are they doing this again?
It's like the scene where Arthur he starts losing a fight and then he realizes, hey, I should switch my sword to my dominant hand, and then he just
that's
wins.
still so fucking weird.
Yeah, because we've seen him fight before. We've seen him do it. He should be fine. But anyway,
Fire Force is, I don't
it's
know.
alright.
If
It's just more of the same. That's it. This arc in general is trying to do something different, but it's not doing it in a particularly interesting way.
Yeah, I don't want, if this drags on for like 2 more episodes, I'm going to be like, I'm getting kind of tired.
I think we're at the end of it. I think at the very most we might get another like wrap-up episode after the next one, but
Yeah. Which I didn't mind the previous arc's wrap-up episode where he's like eating dinner with like, he's cooking with like the lieutenant, and that was nice.
I like that.
Yeah. They should show them cooking more. They are at a firehouse, and firefighters are known for their gourmet skills.
Yes.
That is an actual thing.
It is. Especially if you go to Firehouse Subs.
Yeah, because they have to live there essentially. So you know what? You might as well be good at cooking since you got to like live there.
Yeah, might as well. Dr. Stone.
Dr. Stone.
We meet his dad.
We meet. So we got to the point where Senku got proclaimed as the new chief of the village, and it's Ishigami Village, and Senku's last name is Ishigami.
Oh.
And he finally puts all the pieces together after Rui talks about the 100 tales and stuff that were passed down from priestess to priestess.
It all makes sense now.
And he realizes, oh, the person that found this village was Byakuya Ishigami.
That's his dad.
Yeah, because he immediately puts it together, which we find out, oh, his father always wanted to be an astronaut, and if this only affected people on Earth, it doesn't affect people in space.
It wouldn't affect space station people. It's basically just a flash. Well, yeah, like a flashback.
Yeah, it's more like we see now how the events that happened from Byakuya's perspective almost.
Yeah.
Where we see Senku as a kid and him like really trying to nurture his son's like interest in science, and we see that he really wants to be an astronaut, but he has trouble with the swimming part of the exam.
There's one part that's swimming in clothes, because if your capsule goes down in fucking the ocean, you're gonna have to do some swimming, bud.
And he always gets a leg cramp from that. So Senku tries to make him a suit.
Senku, dedicated science boy son that he is, makes an electrostimulus suit that stimulates his muscles to force them to move in the way of a breaststroke.
Yeah, and it doesn't work at all. And interviewers even ask him, like, so did the suit work? And he's like, no, of course not. He's like, but I had to make it work.
I made it work because he made it for me.
And eventually he finally gets in, he becomes a astronaut, and he goes off to space, and he's like, hey, Senku, I know you're busy and probably not watching, but, just keep working hard, and you'll be up here with me, too. I'll bring you back a bunch of cool stuff.
And Senku's watching.
Yeah, he's watching his dad.
I like their relationship, even though their relationship is, like, not interacting. Like, they barely interact, but
they basically want to help each other with their dreams.
Yeah, and it's wholesome and great.
Yeah, and so Byakuya goes into space, and it's a multinational like space station with a bunch of different people. He goes up there with an American woman and a Russian guy. Yeah. And the American woman basically is, you immediately tell by looking at her, oh, this is Kohaku and Rui's ancestor.
Yeah, because she has the same face and hair. It is blatantly obvious.
Yeah, so and because Senku was even like, which is probably why he puts it together. He's like, I was wondering why you two look like you have foreign blood.
Yeah,
because
they do.
Because it's an international space station, so of course there's an American woman on there. But she's not actually an astronaut, really. She is a pop artist who's there to shoot like a
concerts in space.
And originally, when they get off the station, she acts super like diva-y and like bitchy to everybody. Yeah. But then Byakuya starts laughing, and then it turns out that was a whole joke that the two of them were doing. And they got a good chemistry, the two of them.
Yeah, it's nice. It makes me think that
she's like, I'm actually not like a huge bitch. I thought this would be funny to like start out with.
Yeah, and it was. And then everyone's just kind of chilling. They do the concert. And there's a little moment early, I guess we'll call it early in the morning or late at night, where Byakuya has a little chat with the diva lady. And then it's very wholesome, and it sets up the fact that I'm pretty sure they're going to have a relationship.
Yeah, which would make, like, Rui and Kohaku technically related to Senku.
Yes.
I mean, technically, this would have been a village started by, like, 8 people, so there's going to be some intermixing.
I'm a little surprised that there aren't people with, like, white hair walking around this village if Byakuya was involved. Because you get
Maybe,
a lot of...
I guess blonde is dominant over white.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
But, yeah, because I can kind of see Magma being related to the Russian guy in terms of their, like, I don't know, their facial features.
Yeah.
But yeah, because the Russian guy on there is super, like, stiff and all about working and stuff, but, like, Byakuya is like, hey, you remind me of my son.
Yeah. Byakuya
is a wholesome guy.
He is the most wholesome man on the space station, and I love it. I love watching him be wholesome to everyone else.
He's like a wholesome dad. He just is.
Byakuya is the dad of the space station.
He's the space station's dad. He's like the oldest guy there, too, I think.
Yeah. But one day, he gives the Russian dude some ramen, and he's like, listen, you eat this ramen, it's just like what me...
I only need the basic nutrients to survive.
Just give me a nutrient pack. Give me my nutrient jelly.
And then they see, wait a second, look at that, and the whole world is getting enveloped in the green glow that turns things to stone, which we kind of see, like, from space. It looks a little more weird. Like, it's like something, you can't really see, but there's something hovering above the earth.
Yeah, it definitely starts at one distinctive point kind of off of the world and then spreads. So some shit's up. And
then because it's an interesting scene, because at first they're trying to obviously contact NASA or just any, like, space station or basically anybody. And then they realize that no one's answering, so they're like, maybe it was, like, nuclear war or something. It's like, wait, the internet still works. And they're like, check, like, Twitter, and is anyone tweeting? It's like, no, everyone stopped at the same time. Check live cameras. And then they do it, like, football stadiums and stuff, and just everybody's frozen.
Statues. Everyone is statues.
And they ended up, after they realize everyone's statues, they're like, well, like, what do we do? One guy on there is like, well, listen, there's so many people on the planet. There's got to be someone that survived.
We got to wait for someone to come save us.
But Byakuya's like, nah. We gotta go back to Earth.
We're gonna save them.
We're gonna save the world. But yeah, so they're gonna go back to Earth, and they're gonna go and found Ishigami Village.
Yeah. And then 4,000 years later, Senku's going to wake up, and he's going to learn about it.
Yeah,
Congrats, Senku. Your dad's been dead for 4,000 years.
Yeah, which is sad to know that if he got back there there's no way he's alive, so... Yeah.
But it's good. It's good shit. Good revelations.
We're probably going to figure out that, like, his dad probably planned in, like, something... I feel like his dad left something behind for him that was very specifically meant for him to find.
He had to have. I mean, setting all of this
it's probably going to be a really touching moment, too.
Yeah.
Because, I really like this character. And apparently they just announced recently that Shonen Jump, the magazine that Dr. Stone is in, the artist, Bochi, is going to also be doing a side series about Byakuya.
That's cool as shit.
And you know what? I like this man. So you know what? Do that. Make that.
Yes, please continue it.
Please continue.
Fate. Grand Order, absolute Babylonian units.
Grand Order.
They fight.
Yeah, they fight Gilgamesh, and it happens.
They fight him. It looks like the fights look cool.
Yeah.
Like I will never say that the fights in this show the fights in this specific show don't look cool.
He fights. He has Mash and Anna fight him, which are not great servants.
No. So he beats them pretty handily, and then he's like,
he doesn't even beat them. He just kind of deflects them the entire time.
And then he stops.
And he's like, we're done.
Now.
I'm not interested anymore.
This bit is over. Go get real jobs.
And then Ishtar shows up.
And Ishtar fights them.
Yeah.
And it also looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then she also
she
just...
actually like attacks them though.
Yeah.
Where it's like there's one part where she like kicks Anna in the gut and like
Yeah.
that sounds like it does like some actual damage.
It looked like it hurt.
Yeah.
She shoots. I really like the sound design of this show because anytime anything hits Masha's shield, it just sounds very satisfying. Because there's a part where Ishtar shoots at Gilgamesh.
I like the part where he blows up the gems in her hands before she gets to use them.
Gilgamesh is cool. I like Gilgamesh a lot, and I'm glad we get to watch him in motion.
Yeah, and she's kicking the shit out of them, but then sees Anna there and realizes, oh, so that's what's going on.
Which is literally verbatim what she says, and then she just leaves without another word.
Yeah.
Just, all right, see you guys, and just fucks off.
And she
what could that mean?
Also, she shows up at first, and then she's super tsundere because she's Rin, and they have to really emphasize that she is Rin Tosaka.
Yeah, I mean,
it's all right though. Rin is my favorite Fate Stay Night girl. Little secret reveal to everyone. Now everyone knows.
That's a hot take right there.
That's a hot take.
Not a lot of people.
That is an opinion.
It is. It's an opinion.
Actually, that's just fact. Rin is the best.
Yeah.
I don't care if you guys like Saber or Sakura. Sucks to be you.
I mean, Saber...
Give me your hot take right now. Who's your favorite Fate Stay Night girl?
Does it have to be a servant?
It has to be one of the main three heroines.
Rin?
Okay.
Because, like...
You live.
Saber's not a real person. Saber's been dead for just thousands of years and is just a spiritual representation of this person. And the other one has no presence that makes any impact on me, really.
Well, that's because you have not read the visual novel, so...
I have not.
And you have to watch the Heaven's Feel movies, then.
Yeah. I am planning on doing that. I just haven't gotten around to it.
The third one is coming out, so
cool.
That's a good point. That's the last
one. So start with the third one.
Yeah. Start with the third one and watch them backwards.
And then work my way back, and then it's fine.
That'd be the weirdest way to do anything.
You know what? Yeah, it would.
Oh, and then they move into a building there because they're like, Gilgamesh, essentially what Ian said earlier, get real jobs.
Work your way from the bottom to the top.
So they have to go and help all the people of Uruk, and they live in a little, like, small, like, apartment.
They live in an abandoned house in Uruk with the other servants.
Yeah, Merlin's even like, hey, I got a room in the ziggurat, but I'm going to crash here. This seems like more fun.
You know what?
So they live with... and the other servants he summoned are King Leonidas, who is a lancer, Ushiwakamaru, who is a rider, and Benkei, who is a lancer.
So 2 lancers and a rider.
And a caster and another lancer.
And a smarmy motherfucker caster.
Yeah.
And a lancer.
They mentioned because this will probably get brushed over, but he mentioned that he summoned, they mentioned that he summoned Tomoe Gozen, who died before the main characters showed up.
Yeah.
Which is just a little fun tidbit I thought I'd throw in.
Yeah. We're throwing in all the little fun bitty dids.
And, yeah, so they're all hanging out.
It's a good time.
It's a good time. Everyone's drinking. Everyone's having fun. And yeah, fucking and then, Leonidas is a Ku clone.
Yeah.
Voiced by Kojiro.
He's Ku-Face.
He's Ku-Face, but he's voiced by Kojiro.
Yeah.
And technically all of those people have voiced other servants because Benkei is Shakespeare's voice actor.
Oh, shit.
And Ushiwakamaru is Atalante's voice actress.
I knew she sounded familiar.
Yeah. Actually, she's a lot of people, though, because she is, besides being Atalante, she's also... who's the alter ego you have? I forgot how to say
Oh,
name.
Meltrillis.
Yeah, she's also her.
Okay.
She's a lot of people.
But basically, they drink, they have a good time. Merlin, because he's a shit eater, slipped alcohol into Leonidas's drink to loosen him up.
Because Leonidas just wanted to get the proper amount of nutrients he needed and then get right back to the battle.
Yeah, but he doesn't rest or do anything like that. And then they commence a couple days of work. They build bricks, they sell flowers, they train with Leonidas, which is pretty fucking cool, even though they don't show it.
And they always had in the events, like, Mosh has a deep respect for Leonidas. Like, I remember in the Karano Kyokai event, she's just like, Senpai, that's Leonidas. We have to show a lot of respect to him. He's the highest on the list for, like, the next possible shielder candidates or something.
Ooh, that's good.
Because she respects him as a fellow shield user.
Even though it's Ajax. We got to get Ajax on there.
Yeah. Well, he's actually in Chaldea, whereas Ajax is not. Because why not?
Because why not? Good question.
Yeah, I want more Greeks, and I want you to do them right. I want Odysseus, I want Ajax, and I want Diomedes.
There are so many fucking Greek heroes they can add.
I want Orpheus.
Orpheus would be great.
He would be a good caster.
That would be awesome.
And
Can we get Orpheus, please?
Actually, you know what Orpheus's personality is? It's Tristan's.
Yeah.
He's a sad boy harp player.
And he's a caster.
Yeah, so I guess you couldn't do that because you took his personality and you gave it to Tristan.
Whatever. Just do it again.
Make Orpheus like a Tristan face.
And then have that be the bit between them.
I'm sad and I play music. I am also sad and I play music. But I'm more sad because I turned around.
They actually, like, compete with each other to be ultimate sad boy status. That could be fun.
That could be. But yeah, the rest of the episode, they go and fight ghosts with Anna because, that's a filler quest during, the actual game part.
Yeah, and we don't see that. They just kind of skip past that.
Yeah, and that's it.
That's it.
That's the episode.
Let's go back to high school.
Yeah.
Demon high school.
My Demon Academia.
Yeah. Boku no Demon Academia. So we get
Boku no Akuma Academia.
Yeah. We get to spend a lot of time with Clara, who is very extra.
Yeah, at first we thought this was going to be... when I first watched the episode, I'm like, this is going to be the character that ruins it for me. But you know what? I kind of like her.
Me too. I was like, this character, I hate her.
Essentially, she's super extra, and she's like, hey, do you want to play with me? Please, please, please. And please is the trigger word for Iruma. So he's like, I have to.
And he even ropes Asmodeus into it, so Asmodeus kind of gets into it too.
Yeah. The best part was when she's like as. Yeah. She calls him as, and she's like, you should play like a housewife whose husband is cheating or something.
Yeah, you should. No, he plays the he plays the neighbor who the wife's husband is cheating with.
Right, and she's just like, I'm not gonna do that, and then Iruma's just like, come on, let's try it, Asmodeus, and then he's like, since my master has told me, he immediately gets into it like, you should totally leave him.
He gets super into character, and it's amazing.
He's a great character.
Asmodeus is awesome. I love him.
And so you find out that she has an ability where she can like create things that she's seen before.
Apparently her family's specialty is just making things out of thin air.
She just slaps her pockets, and then after whatever she wants comes out.
Gotta bing bing slap those pockets.
And so she uses it to like give her friends snacks and stuff, but then Iruma kind of notices she's kind of being used by some other, like...
some scummy demons.
So these dudes come over and they're just like, hey, Clara, good to see you again. Anyway, can we get some snacks?
Yo, can we get some drinks and, like, some chaps?
And they're like, and she's like, yeah, those guys are my friends. They play with me sometimes. And then she, like, explains how it always is. And it's just, like, clearly that they're using her. It's like, hey, yeah, let's play hide and seek. Go over to that tree and count to 50,000.
Yeah, count to 50,000.
And she's, like, there all by herself.
And she does. She counts to 50,000.
And it's like, that's sad.
Clara, you make me sad.
And then she overhears them talking. It's just like, hey, why's the honor student hanging out with Clara? It's like, duh, to use her, of course.
And then she's like, you don't think I don't know that?
And then she goes to give him a bunch of stuff, and he's just like, I don't want it.
I don't want that stuff.
And she's like all sad, like, oh, this is him not wanting to be my friend anymore or play with me anymore. And he's like, no, I still want to play with you. I just don't need stuff.
I like this scene because I think it was directed very well.
Yeah.
Because she pushes all this shit at him, and he just quickly is like, I don't want it. And then there's like a minute and a half of dead silence, and she's like, okay, but this one is my favorite one. And he's like, no, I told you I don't want it. I don't want this stuff. And then he has to, like, basically shout over her crying. They're like, no, I just want to be your friend. I want to play with you, but I don't need all this junk.
And then she gets really happy about that because, hey, this is the first time someone's asked to play with her, not the other way around.
Yeah.
And then all those dudes show up again. They're just like, yo, Clara, so anyway, we need like a couple of cold sodas.
And Clara, because she always goes 110%, drops a vending machine on one of them.
Yeah. And then she's like, hey, this will give you all the drinks you want as long as you put money in it.
Yeah. Got him. Ripperoni.
And that's the first part of the episode.
Yeah.
And then the second part, they go to pick him up every morning now, Asmodeus and Clara. And the grandpa's like, oh, some nice friends you got there. And he's like, friends? Am I allowed to have friends?
Can we do that here?
And he gets an existential crisis of whether or not he should even have friends and all that. And he essentially resolves it by just being like,
hey, are you guys my friends?
and they're demons, so they're like, what's a friend?
What is friends? Is that like mochi? Because one of the root words in friend in Japanese is mochi.
And then after he's like, no, friends are like people that, you play with, you talk to, and they're really important to you. And then Clara's like, well, I'm not going to be the number one friend. And Asmodeus is like, no, I shall be number one friend.
I am the number one friend. And Iruma is like, no, you can both be the number one friend. And Clara's like, well, I'm going to be the better number one friend.
Oh, but a little before this, they're in the cafeteria, and essentially, to be a dick, some of the kids, like, order, like, 50, like, servings to, like, Aruma's table.
But turns out he can eat a fuck ton.
Yeah, and not just a fuck ton, like, he eats so much that the chef passes out because he can't keep up with it.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
He has shonen protagonist appetite.
Yeah. And Clara, because turns out having a school store and having your friend be the one kid that can just spawn shit whenever she wants, school store demon doesn't like that.
Yeah.
So he bans her, and Clara, just being Clara, goes and fucks stuff up.
And then the angry teacher shows up.
Our favorite teacher.
And he's all pissed off, and he's just like, just because you were able to, like, restrain me, don't think of yourself as all high and mighty. And he's like, I won't, sir. And he's like, who's this? And he's like, there are more of them now.
There are more.
And she is immediately the type of person that he can't stand.
She is everything he hates.
And then he ends up...
Clara's like, I want to see what his familiar form looks like.
Aruma, put that sticker on your hand and clap.
Yeah, raise your hands into the air.
So he puts like a summoning circle sticker on the back of his hand from the school store, and then he claps, and then boom, the teacher turns into the familiar form.
He's like, what the... Iruma, clap. Stop it. Just stop this.
Yeah, then they run away, and he basically gets...
Because the school store demon believes that he should impale anyone who steals or breaks any of the rules.
With a bamboo stick.
Yeah. So they run away, and then the teacher's on the hook for paying for it.
Yeah.
And that's when transitions to...
Yeah, them having their friend.
Are you my friends?
Yeah. And then we get one final scene of the teachers, or the staff meeting at the end, and the principal like, all right, so no objections. Aruma, Asmodeus, and Clara will be put into the misfit class.
Because of course they are.
Yeah.
And you know what? I like that. I'm real happy about that. Because that shows that Sullivan, even though he's the head of the school, he's making these impartial decisions.
Even though Asmodeus really shouldn't be in the misfit class.
No, he shouldn't. But he's associated with Aruma, so guilty by association.
Yeah. This is a good show, though. I really like it.
I really enjoy the shit out of this show. It's very good.
I also enjoy Orisuki. Are you the only one who loves me?
I also like this show a lot.
Yeah. So, are you still in Camp Cosmos?
No.
I'm in the Pansy parlor.
Yeah, we both entered the Pansy parlor, I think. 'Cause like, I mean, I know he's got to keep up the I hate you thing, but
come on, buddy.
Yeah, you won. You've done it. Like, show's over. Episode 3.
So we ended right where everyone walked in on him with Pansy, and then he eventually gets, like, in that scene, all his secrets get outed, and everyone basically turns on him.
Yeah.
Because even Pansy's just like, Didn't you say that the one that he doesn't pick, I'll get to take for myself?
And he was, yeah, I like how his response is, why would you say that out loud? Also, how did you know that?
Or at first he seems like he has everything under control because he actually attacks them and he's just like, you guys just used me. All you did was use me and think of yourselves. And then they're all like, oh, I guess we did do that. But then that gets pointed out and he's like, uh-oh.
Yeah. But Book Girl has a plan. She's got a plan.
Because Sun-Chan ends up punching him. He's like, Joro, you're actually just an asshole. And he hits him in the face. And then he carries him out of the library and he's like, sorry, Joro. I wanted us to be friends forever.
Me too.
And then now everyone's being mean to Joro because they all think like, oh, he's a huge scumbag. Did you hear what he did to like Cosmos and the girl we don't care about?
And I mean, they're not wrong. They're not objectively wrong.
And so it goes like a whole week of just him living in isolation and no one talking to him.
And then he gets a text to go back to the library to hear the library girl's true feelings.
And he goes back to the library and Pansy's like, hey, by the way, there's a book over there. Can you go find it for me? And he's like, ugh.
Can you find I Am a Cat over on that shelf?
So he goes over there, but then he hears someone else comes in, and it's Sun-Chan.
Who's been going to the library every day during lunch to go hit on the library girl.
And this was essentially her plan, was to like get Sun-Chan to reveal his whole thing. She's like, hey, Sun-Chan, can you tell me something? Why did you trap Juro?
Yeah, because she basically does the whole I have unraveled your schemes speech
and
right
then
in front of him.
And then he reveals it. He reveals all his schemes, and he's like, because of this, but how did you know that? And she's like, I didn't. You just told me. And he's like, you got me with the classic ruse. But yeah, so it turns out he was jealous of Joro because Joro, like, a girl that he liked Joro in middle school. And apparently he even knew in middle school that Joro had, like, a two-faced personality.
Yeah, I guess he's just known all along.
Yeah.
And she liked him anyway.
Yeah, and he's just like, don't you know he's secretly an asshole? And she's like, yeah, that's what I like about him.
Yeah, it's great.
And so then he was all angry. And then he basically turns into, like, he does, like, a quick, like, heel turn where he's like, ha 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 ha, I am actually a, like, if you thought Joro was a shitty person, Sun-Chan is a, like, he's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And not, like, a fun piece of shit like Toucan. He's just a piece of shit.
He's just a big piece of shit.
Like, he's a scuzzball.
And he's even, it is not explicitly stated, but he begins threatening sexual violence against the library girl.
He essentially threatens rape.
And Joro's like, shit.
Like, so he goes off about how the two girls that liked him were just pathetic and stupid, and that he's like, hey, Pansy, I forget her actual name, but he's like,
Me too.
Hey, no one comes to the library during lunch, right? And she's like, that is correct. And he's like, so I could do whatever I wanted, and no one could stop me. She's like, that is also correct. And he's like, aren't you gonna, like, do anything about that? And she's like, no, I have a feeling that my prince will come to aid me.
My mean, degenerate prince will come to save me.
But yeah, just thinking about that, what a
dick.
Like,
the
second he didn't get what he wanted, he was just like, hey, I know we're in the middle of school grounds, but what if I just, like, assaulted you?
What if I took it? Yeah. What if I just took what I wanted?
Yeah, and you can't, and, like, I'm fully telling you, like, yeah, I can do whatever I want right now.
And you know what? I believe he was gonna.
And you know what's the shitty thing? Because I don't know, I've just seen this sort of thing before. He's probably gonna, like, immediately, like, after all this is over, be fine with them.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna pretend, like, hey, didn't he, like, 2 or 3 episodes ago, like, threaten to rape somebody? Now he's, like, back being bros with the squad.
Probably. This is gonna be our squad full of, like, shitty people. Like, we're just gonna keep getting more.
Yeah, but he's, like,
people.
a really shitty person. Joro's just an asshole. Like, this guy's a
genuinely piece.
This is a bad person.
Garbage.
Yeah, he's garbage. But yeah, Joro steps out and he's just like, hey, I heard the whole thing.
Your plans were revealed to me. Now I'm gonna style on you and use my, I guess, superior strength.
One of the things she really does hammer on, like, Sun-Chan is because he always thought he was, like, in a competition with Joro, but he's like, how did you fall in love with Joro? And she's like, It was the day of the baseball competition.
I was going to meet Joro at the north exit. And he's like, now we got all the fucking exits covered. Yeah.
So yeah, because everything is at this baseball competition.
This is a life-changing baseball game.
Because apparently Joro waited outside in the sun with a bunch of shit to like cheer up Sunshan.
Yeah, his favorite barbecue pork.
Yeah, so she's like, yeah, the whole time you were like trying to like one-up him or something or like take him down, but he wanted to support you as his best pal. And think about it, with those two girls, he only thought about helping you the whole time. He even asked me to like go out with you because
he wanted to help you.
Yeah, he's a good friend. He's a real bros before hoes kind of guy, but not like you.
And we get a little foreshadowing. There were a couple things that I totally anticipated because I did not think it was just Joro, Sunshan, and Library Girl.
Oh yeah, that the other girls were there.
Because you know what? It's never just fucking two people in the library. It's never. No, there are always people hiding in the library.
But yeah, Joro ends up like snapping at him too about like, he's like, yeah, you can call those girls pathetic and make fun of them, but don't laugh at their feelings.
Yeah, because like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, it's a shitty thing to do.
Yeah.
Because he picks up Sunshan by the collar, or like grabs him by the collar and makes him like, ugh, yeah, I'm sorry, don't hurt me.
Because I guess Joro, who's been trying to go for the average everyday kid thing,
can like intimidate a professional, a high school athlete.
Yeah,
an athlete,
a jock.
Yeah,
but he does.
I'm the scrawny nobody, and I'm gonna scare you, baseball player,
sports player.
But then he scares him off, and then he's like, "I'm not God dang it, I'm not coming back." And then she reveals the truth.
Well, he doesn't know that the other girls were there. Basically, he just ends up leaving after, and then she's like, "You can come out now," and the two girls come out of hiding.
Yeah.
And then the next day, he notices no one's vandalizing his shoes anymore, and like Cosmos is there, and she's like,
sorry, dude.
Yeah, thank you." And then she runs away. And same thing, or when he goes into his class, it's the childhood friend girl, and they're just like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "This is Joro's desk. No one touch it."
And they're like, "We weren't gonna. We weren't gonna do that. That's not a thing. That's not a thing we do."
And then
that's school property.
And then one day while they're in class, Sunshan's like, "Hey, I have an announcement to make to everybody." And he ends up like saying that he made up all those rumors about Joro. And
he reveals his whole scheme in front of the entire class.
Also, there's a massive fucking dude in the front row.
Yeah.
Like, this man is a unit. How does anyone see behind him?
I have to give it to the animators of this show. They really put the work in with the other students. Like, everyone looks like a unique person.
This dude should be in the back row. Like, he has a small girl sitting right behind him.
She can't see shit.
This dude is like 7 feet tall and like jacked.
He is wide.
He is so wide. He's sitting there like, ugh. He's a gorilla.
But he confesses, and then Joro goes to the library to tell Library Girl, even though he was being all tsundere about it, like, "I fucking hate you. I'm not gonna come back here."
And then he's like, she's like, "You don't remember me, do you?" And he's like, "No." And she's just like, "How about now?" And she starts undoing her like top, and he's just like, "I don't want to see you like that. You're gross." And then after, it turns out she's super hot.
She's the big titty girl who was staring at him outside the baseball game.
And apparently, like, her entire looks was based on the fact that, like, oh, she binds her chest so you can't really see how big her boobs are, and she puts glasses on and ties her hair like in braids, which really aren't enough to be like, "Oh, you're ugly."
Yeah, and because like she's got a cute face.
Yeah, and then she reveals herself to be that girl, and then after, he's all now like, "Oh, I guess I do kind of like her, but I have to keep up my whole I'm an asshole thing."
I know what's on the inside of that, and it's not good. And you know what? He's probably not that far off.
But they have the same personality type, though, so that just fits anyway. But now I feel like it's going to turn into a proper harem where actually the two girls he helped out now probably like him instead of, obviously, Sunshan, because
he defended their honor.
Because he is a creepy rapist.
Yeah. You know what? Everything's better than a creepy rapist.
Yeah, so now they probably like Joro, so now it is probably an actual harem, but I don't know why he would bother with the two of them.
Yeah. One wins.
Also, thinking about this, now I don't even know why we're bothering with the rest of the series. You know for a fact who's going to win in the long term. Like, this is an ongoing light novel series. You know who's going to win. They're not going to, like, pull the rug out from under you on this one.
Oh, shit, it was Cosmos the whole time. He
Yeah.
fell for the thick stockings.
Or one of the characters that we haven't even been introduced yet. Think about this.
Shit.
When is it ever a character that doesn't appear, like, in the first episode? Like, it's going to be like, oh, there's a
Yeah.
new girl that just got added. It's probably going to be her.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, yeah. It's plainly obvious. But whatever.
Yeah, I guess.
Hey.
Whatever.
Didn't I fucking say to make my abilities average in the next life?
fucking explain that I wanted my abilities to be average in
I wanna be normal.
It's called normal.
You know what? She wishes. wishes.
Yeah, so, references the show.
References the show. There's a shit ton of references, and I love them because I love references to things.
Yeah, I don't know. I references are okay, but I feel like they date things.
They do, but that's
Although at the
something
same
that's
time with
never
anime
bothered me.
references, everyone references the same stuff they've been referencing forever. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, a Dragon Ball reference, a Berserk reference, a JoJo reference. Those have they've never done one of those before.
Yeah, more JoJo references.
They haven't done. I don't think they did a JoJo reference yet, though.
No.
They're gonna.
Basically, in this episode, Maine goes to school.
Oh, it's
Or-
her name is Mine.
Mine.
You're thinking of Book Girl. Book Girl is named Mine. Her name is Mile. M-I-L-E.
Oh yeah, that's right, Mile.
Yeah. Mine was the girl from Ascendance of a Bookworm.
Yes. Mile goes to school and she tries to be normal and she fucks it up super hard.
Yeah, so they end up testing them to see what classes they're going to place them or what rank they're going to place them all at. And she's like, all right, just be average. So the first thing is like a physical fighting like contest, which obviously Sword Girl, that like Tomboy Sword Girl does pretty good at.
Yeah.
But
And
Mine steps in and she's like, all right, I just got to like, I'll win one, lose most of them. And like she goes up against the biggest guy. He's like, huh, this won't even be a fight.
his name is Moobs.
It's like, this girl's got a small chest too, and that's her trigger.
Yeah, I get that feeling that that's gonna be a thing.
And then she beats him instantly, and everyone's like, whoa, she did it in one swipe. And she's like, oh no, I did it again.
I heard him complaining about how his stomach was feeling bad before he fell over.
And then the fire mage girl goes in, they're doing target practice, and she's like, burn and with the ashes from flames of hell. And then she shoots her fire beam, and she's like, all right, I'll just do average too. And
I
she
don't
does
know what average is, so I'll just do that one.
So she does the same spell, and then she goes and sits down. She's like, you're pretty impressive. She's like, what do you mean? That was my own personal spell that I invented myself, and you just copied it after seeing it once.
Rip. And then they get quests. It's quest time.
Yeah. Oh, and earlier in the
there-
episode, they're all hanging out in their dorm room, and they're trying to
yeah.
find out more about her. And she's just essentially is like, family secret? Well, how can you do this?
Family secret.
What about that? Let me guess. Family secret?
Yeah. And they get the quest, and they're like, what's an easy one? So they decide to pick up some rabbits. They
Yeah.
get some horned rabbits.
But they can't hit the rabbits because her fireballs are too slow to hit it, and the girl with the sword's like not used to hitting something that's like little and bouncing around.
I did think it was kind of funny that that's what Crimson Reina actually says. She's like, I'm not used to hitting things with magic that are moving around. Because the first thing that came into my head was, that's the most fucking useful skill you could have as a mage.
Yeah.
You think people are just gonna sit there and let you shoot fireballs at them?
Yeah, but
I
she ends up realizing, I guess in order to make myself more average, I just need to make these girls better. Because the sword girl was actually like, hey, can you show me how to fight like you did when you fought that dude?
Yeah, she's super into it.
But she's like, if I make them better, it makes me worse.
Exactly. So she sets out to train her friends.
And she actually turns out as a pretty decent teacher.
Yeah.
Like, for example, the girl shooting like fireball and stuff, she's like, hey, try shooting it with like an icicle. It's faster. And
Yeah.
so she teaches her how to just shoot an icicle.
She teaches support girl how to shoot hot water. And
Yeah.
then she just fucking trains Mavis. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to come at you at normal speed.
And then her face gets all like Dragon Ball looking, and then after she becomes Master Roshi.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. She turns into Master Roshi.
And then, yeah, she puts her through the typical shonen training arc.
Yeah, it's weird to see our main character shonen train support characters.
I do like the idea of, though, like, hey, I'm a character that's super perfect, so instead of me leveling up, getting new abilities or anything, I'm going to make my side characters really strong.
Yeah, I do like that idea.
And they actually are able to completely fuck up the golem, or not the golems, the rabbits now. And then golems show up.
And then golems show up.
And they're all like, these are for A-ranked adventurers. There's no way we can take these on. And instead, Mile is obsessed with their, like, architecture.
She is super into it. She wants to know how these dudes work.
Because it turns out Mile's a huge nerd, and she really likes figures.
Yeah, she makes Nendoroids.
Yeah, she makes Nendoroids.
Yay.
And she, like, sings to it and stuff. And then,
yeah.
And she got, like, caught by Support Girl.
It's a family secret.
And she's like, how did you make this? Family secret.
Family secret.
And, like, Support Girl's like, that's probably not a family secret because that architecture is just insane.
You have done something crazy, so doubt. Gonna have to drop a doubt on that one, fam. But then golems show up. And
they all actually work together to defeat it, and Mile actually doesn't help.
Except for Mile, because she goes and just totally disassembles 2 golems by herself.
But they beat one by themselves, which actually shows that their training has sort of paid off.
Yeah.
So they actually have gotten better.
Yeah. And it turns out they're the only ones who completed their mission.
And everyone else just had to fight like rats and shit, and they failed.
Yeah. Rats, slimes.
Their school almost reminds me of the Endero school.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, that was a good show.
That was very comfy.
That was a comfy show. I wish we took that.
Me too.
We wrote that off that season.
Because it was comfy.
No, I don't even think just that. I remember it aired the day we shot our podcast, so we didn't really have time to like test it out.
Yeah.
Which is a shame.
You know what? We learn from these mistakes. We learn.
That show had only one episode I didn't really like that much. That was the one where they went to, like, the card place to, like, go scavenge the cards.
Yeah.
But everything else was fine. Like, when they found, I think, the place underwater, like, the dungeon down there.
That's so good. I love that shit.
I even liked the teacher character that I didn't think I would like.
Yeah. The teacher's great. I mean, how...
Mao Sensei.
It's weird here, because we're used to the Mao Sama, not the Sensei.
There's a lot of Maos.
Yeah.
It's just their word for, like, demon. Yeah.
Assassin's Pride.
Yeah, Assassin's Pride.
It's gonna be a thing. This one's gonna be a thing.
Yeah, so it opens with him feeling up his middle schooler.
It's a physical.
Yeah, he's giving her a
physical. He's not feeling her up. It's a physical.
It's a physical. He's giving her a physical, and I did at least like the fact that it's not all like, whoa, where are you touching? It's more like, hey, aren't you uncomfortable doing this? Actually, yes, but, you know, I do
hide it.
Yeah, I have learned to hide my emotions, and also, if anything happened to you because of the magic I gave you, I would feel really bad about it.
Yeah. So congratulations. It turns out she's the same magic class as him.
I don't know how their classes work yet, but she wanted to be a paladin, but instead she's a samurai.
Yeah.
And this is a Japanese show, so I'm gonna assume secretly samurai is the best one.
I mean, the main character is the biggest nothing personnel kid ever, so I'm gonna assume it's probably pretty good.
Yeah.
But he figures it out, and then she gets bullied some more by bitch character.
And she is he forbids her from using any magic except when they're training, and then now there's going to be a big tournament where they all go at it. Oh, and bitch character who's bullying her is like, hey, I wanted to read that book. You're going to lend it to me, right?
Because we're friends. Because we're friends.
And then she just takes it from her, and she can't do anything about it.
Because she's a bitch.
Yeah. And then they have the day of the tournament, and... I think her name's Melida.
Yeah.
Melida's father shows up, and he's there to watch the whole thing, but he's an asshole.
Yeah. These are the dudes that were like, hey, if she's not legitimate because she doesn't have mana, just kill her. Just end her.
Because when they shows up at the tournament, he actually looks at, like, what's his name? Khufu?
Yeah, something like that.
He looks at Khufu, and he's, like, kind of nods at, like, or he nods at, like, the dad, just kind of like, yep, it's all good.
Everything's great.
Oh, and the girl he helped when he first arrived in town was also the teacher of the cousin.
Yeah.
And, yeah, he's
kind of an asshole now.
Yeah. But, they end up, she ends up having the first fight against the girl who was a bitch to her, and then they fight. That's most of the thing. They fight each other, and she's all surprised that she has mana now, and she's like, well, just because a baby learned to walk doesn't mean it can run.
And then she gets super extra about using her magic to pummel the shit out of her, and then she loses.
Yeah, because it looks like she's about to win because Melida runs out of mana.
Yeah.
And she, like, does a big attack at her, and she's like, your attack wasn't that scary. And she's like, what? And she's like, Sensei's attacks were far more terrifying.
Yeah, because you know what? That dude murders people for a living. Like, actually murders dudes. So I can imagine his attacks would probably be pretty frightening.
And then after she has a secret technique where she does, like, a long slash that, like, flies forward.
It's a samurai wind draw, because of course.
And then she beats her, and her team comes to help her fight the ads.
Yeah.
And then I guess the objective is to put out the fire of the other team.
Yes.
And then she does that, and then they win.
And then they immediately lose the next match in about 13 seconds.
Yeah, because her cousin, who is a paladin, just has angel wings and can fly.
She flies over everyone and just puts the flame out. That's fucking cheating.
That is pretty. If this is like a fight, like, people are here to see the fight. You've robbed the audience of the fun.
Exactly.
People are here for the spectacle.
And even Sensei is like, holy shit, she used an attack that she saw me do once.
Yeah, for the samurai slash thing.
Yeah.
And then she goes and, like, sees her dad. She's like, Father, I won. And he's just like, don't get cocky.
Don't get cocky, kid.
Yeah. Come back to me when you actually win against another school.
And she's distraught at this, but then Sensei is like, hey, at least he fucking talked to you. That's pretty cool, right? It doesn't happen every day.
I guess. And then the bully shows up, and she's like, hey.
I finished reading this.
Yeah, I finished reading the book, so you can have it back now. So, yeah. And then she leaves.
And then she leaves, and it's fine.
And she will never be seen again.
Probably not. It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
I watch it.
It's okay. I watch it.
Africa Salaryman. The show is great.
Yeah, Africa Salaryman. So,
there's a lot of shit.
Yeah, it turns out that lioness chick that we see every now and then, the high school girl, that's Big Cat's daughter.
That's Big Cat's daughter.
Also, we learn how much of a more of a piece of shit that Toucan is. So he mentions, like, a thing where this is an actual thing where, like, because I found out, like, one of my cousins actually does this, where they just stay on the phone all day with their significant other. It's like an all day call.
Yeah.
Like, even if you're not even, you could go like 2 hours without talking to each other, but then be like, oh, hey, by the way.
Yeah, I've met someone who did that.
Anyway, that's weird. And he has a girlfriend that he stays on the phone with the whole time. But then you find he's like, yeah, I had some trouble last night with that, like, call thing, and he's telling Lizard about it. And then it turns out he has 2 girlfriends, and he accidentally mixed them up while on call with each other.
Yep.
And then they're just like, are you talking to another woman? We never went to, like, the beach together. He's like, oh, and then you're like, who's that voice I hear? And instead of just doing anything about it, he decides to let them talk to each other and fight. he goes to, like, make some, like, coffee.
He's like, those women troubles.
He's like, this is kind of entertainment.
Toucan, you're a piece of shit.
And then Lizard's like, wow, yeah, that's crazy. You should probably just die.
Yeah, you should just die. And then...
Oh, there's a part where then they're talking about, like, Big Cat's like, man, my daughter doesn't want to take a bath after me anymore. Specifically, this is a Japanese thing. Like,
yeah.
This is not an issue we run into over here because we don't take baths past, like, childhood.
Yeah. But basically, his daughter doesn't want to take a bath right after him
because he leaves a bunch of hair in there.
Which makes sense.
And you know what?
I wouldn't either.
I wouldn't want to take a bath after anybody in my household, let alone my father.
Yeah, I'm pretty good.
Yeah, so she doesn't want to take a bath after him, and he ends up, like, they're just talking about baths and, like, usage of bath water to be not wasteful.
Yeah.
And they're like,
because Toucan doesn't live with anybody, so he feels like it's wasteful to just drain the bath after he's done with it.
And he's just like, what could I do with my bath water? And he's like, well, you're a bird. I guess you could make some broth out of it.
Yeah, everyone tells him to cook with it.
Yeah.
And then he does.
Oh, and then Lizard comes in. They're in the smoking room, but he's being, like, Lizard starts smoking. He's just, like, walks up to him. Geez, secondhand smoke is really bad.
Toucan's a...
He's like, this is the smoking room. Go somewhere else.
Because Toucan's a piece of shit.
And mention that Toucan's, like, trying to quit smoking or something. And then after he goes home, and he's just like, huh. And he comes back. He's like, "Hey guys, do you want to you want some cabbage rolls? I made them with my bathwater." And they're like, "No, because that's disgusting."
That's disgusting.
And it
That
cuts
is
to
gross.
a perfect shot of him just looking outside, smoking a cigarette, just like, why?
Yeah, it's very good.
And then we meet the president of the company.
Turtle boss.
Yeah, and he's an asshole.
He always walks around with a wad of money on his head just so he can flex how rich he is on his underlings.
Yeah, to his corporate drones.
It's very good.
And he starts like beating the shit out of like Lizard. He's like, "Hey," he's like, "this kind of corporate punishment isn't allowed anymore."
Yeah.
And then Toucan keeps kind of jumping to his phone. He's just like, "Hello, job finder? I need a new job."
Immediately, as soon as possible.
And he essentially sends them to go find some weird like African like cryptid.
Yeah. 'Cause you know what? He wants it. So they go into the jungle.
Yeah, he's like, "Are you at least gonna like get paid for this?" He's like, "Sure, yeah, 300 yen for expenses, and then like 100 yen for cab fare, which is like
Nothing.
it's like $4."
Yeah. It's a pittance.
And so they get to the jungle and they're looking around and they find a kappa.
I love how different the art style of the Kappa is.
Yeah, it's drawn really like creepy.
It looks like it belongs in a different horror series.
And Lizard is completely blown away. He's like, "Holy shit, guys, that's a mythical creature. That's a kappa." And they're like, "Oh, cool."
Oh yeah, it's just a Kappa. Hey, so that creature we're looking for, it's not around here, right? And Lizard opts to ask the Kappa, and she has a super cutesy voice.
And she's like, "What are you looking for?" And he's like, "We're looking for this creature." And she's like, "Well, I'll tell you, but I want something first." He's like, "What do you want?" "I want a man."
Oh.
And he's like, he tries to pass off
Yeah.
Toucan. She's like, "Nah, his beak is gross."
I need a man who's covered in fur with bright red eyes and spines symmetrically down his back.
And they're like, "Where do we find a guy like that?"
And then they walk for like 5 minutes, and then they find a chupacabra.
Yeah, they find a chupacabra, and they're just
Drawn
like,
in the same style as the Kappa.
and again, his voice too. Like he has like a really like thick Kansai accent.
Yeah, it's very good.
And they hook the two of them up, and they're just like, "Where do we find that creature?" And she's like, "Oh, it's been in that tree that whole time."
Yeah, he licks up the honey.
And they go on like a thing to go catch him, and it's hilarious because Lizard's the only one putting any effort. Big Cat's just kind of supervising, and Toucan's playing like handheld video games.
Yeah. Would you expect anything else of Toucan?
And they finally catch him, and they bring him back. And then after the boss shows up, and he's just like, "There you are, get back in the admin room." And he's just like, No, I don't want to go back.
Please don't. Let me go.
And he's just like, "So that was an escaped employee."
No.
And then they all look at each other, and then they all get out their phones. "Hello, job finder?"
I need a job as soon as possible.
And that's the end of that one.
It's very good. It's very funny. This show is very funny.
It's good stuff.
It is a knee slapper. No Guns Life.
No, After School Dice Club. You always skip that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
After School Dice Club, we get a really like melodramatic episode.
Yeah, and it kind of falls flat.
Yeah, Maki was bullied when she was younger, and then after she meets some woman looking for her cat, and the cat's also shy, so it gravitates towards her.
So she helps the cat.
That's not how cats work, by the way.
It's not how cats work.
Cats don't go, "Hey, you're shy like me. Let us bond."
Cats aren't shy.
Cats will just be. Cats usually don't have a reason. It's like, "Hey, I pick you," not for any specific reason, just because I can.
Yeah. But
I guess that's the because everyone else is mad that the cat won't let it touch it, so that's probably the best way that the cat was decided. How can I be an asshole to the most people in this room?
You know what? And it was right.
I'll pick the person that's not interested in touching me.
So the cat gravitates to her, and then it's fine.
And she meets a girl who's really nice, and then after she's like, "Oh, I'm supposed to meet my friends. I'll be right back." And she's like, or "I gotta go." And she's like, "Sorry for holding you up. See you later." And then she does see her later.
Yeah, because turns out that was Genki Girl's sister.
Yeah, and they're at Genki Girl's house to play games.
And Saki shows up.
Yeah, she brings...
Best girl from season 1.
She brings a delinquent girl who, like, has all the biker attire and stuff.
And blonde hair.
Yeah. And, well, that's an actual thing.
Yeah.
Delinquents dye their hair blonde over there.
Yeah.
And she makes Maki very uncomfortable, or Miki very uncomfortable.
Yeah, Miki.
Because Yeah, she's not her type of person.
Nope.
And they're playing some game, and the essence of the game is like it's Indiana Jones, you're treasure hunting.
It's all risk and reward.
Yeah, basically you have to choose whether you want to explore the temple more, and if you do, you might get more riches, but if you draw 2 of the same curse cards, you have to leave.
Yeah.
And you can't take any of your riches with you.
You fail.
And while they're playing, Miki being Miki passes a lot, and I think the girl's name is Maki, actually.
Yeah, I think so.
The biker girl is
Yeah,
just
because
like,
it was Mad Dog Maki.
Yeah. And Mad Dog Maki's just like, hey, you used to get bullied a lot when you were younger, right? I can just kind of tell. You got that personality that makes it really easy.
Bullies can sense weakness.
And then she gets all sad. She's just like, maybe this was one of those people that bullied me when I was younger. But then her friends are just like, hey, they stick out their fists, and they'll just be like, we're not going to let anyone bully Miki. And it's really just...
It's fine.
It's like kind of...
It's not. It's actually not fine.
It's a very unrealistic moment.
Yeah.
It's like, eh.
Because like she's not even bullying her. She's just like, hey, you seem like someone who got bullied a lot, which is a real random fucking question, by the way.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird personal thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the end she finds out her name. Like Miki decides to stay in, and she actually wins and beats everyone else. And then after they find out that Maki's first name is Kyoko.
Yeah.
And she's like, wait a second, I remember. That's the person who saved me from the bullies.
Oh no, a totally out of left field twist. It hit me off guard.
Yeah, and that's the episode.
Yeah.
It wasn't very good.
No Guns Life.
No Guns Life. Now this was good.
I very much like.
And we always save the best for last, or one of the best for last.
Yeah. Turns out the show about a noir detective with a fucking revolver for a head is awesome.
So we ended last time with him punching the train.
Yes.
And then a bunch of guys come out to shoot at him, and he just deflects the bullets and then punches the crap out of them.
And then he boards the train. He's going after the kid.
Yeah, Tetsuo.
Tetsuo.
And he's just like, Tetsuo, I thought you said you didn't want to be a tool anymore. And he uses his thing to possess one of the guys, the robots in there. And he's like, Juzo, save me. I really don't want to be here. And he's like, there you go. That's how a kid should be. And
You're supposed to be a kid. You got to throw a tantrum.
Yeah. And then the nun lady, the latex lady is like,
The latex nun
ends up trying to shoot at him. I was about to say, like, I wonder if that's a thing. I'm like, oh, right, the Hitman games.
Yeah.
And so she starts shooting at him, but it doesn't do anything. And she's like, well, what about this close? And she actually does do some damage to his wrist.
Yeah, she shoots holes in his arm.
But then he does, like, the knockout chop to her neck.
Yeah.
And he's like, sorry, sister, you're going to have to take a nap for a bit. And then he saves Tetsuo and gets him out of there. And he calls up that person he called in episode 1, Mary. And turns out that's the blonde girl from the OP.
I'm looking for my wife, Mary.
Yeah, she ends up she's a
back alley surgeon.
She is the cyberpunk back alley doctor.
Yeah.
That a lot of those have.
It's great.
And they're hiding in there while she's treating some patient, and she basically agrees to look over Tetsuo for him and kind of take care of him while he settles some stuff. And he asks if she can remove the device that's in his throat. And she's like, I don't know if I can, because whoever put this in didn't really seem to care about whether he died or not.
Yeah, so that would be pretty dangerous. I can make it a little less dangerous for him, but I can't, like, fix it entirely.
And he goes out, and all of his favorite cigarette brands are just gone.
Yeah, someone went out and bought up all his cigarettes.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's going to be relevant.
And he ends up finding one vending machine that has him.
And you know what? They get stuck.
Yeah, and so he, like, punches the machine, and then 2 cops come by and bust him.
You're going to jail for life, motherfucker.
And they bring him over instead, because obviously they're on the corporation's payroll.
Yeah.
It's like German or something, like Buren. Buren?
I want to say it's like Bergen or something like that.
I think it's Buren.
I can't remember.
Anyway, it's German corporation.
Yeah, it's got an umlaut. But he meets some of the goons.
Yeah, and this little plump man who's just like,
in
ooh,
like
Juzo.
a purple suit.
Yeah. We're going to give you an offer to basically stay out of our business, and we'll give you your cigarettes.
This is all the cigarettes. I bought them all.
And it wasn't, apparently the cigarettes actually do something for him. They're like a sort of medicine.
Well, they do something for extended folk.
Yeah, essentially, extended people have like two brains. They have like their main brain and the subbrain, which controls, I think, their like mechanical parts.
Yeah.
And that's what Tetsuo's ability is. He can take over the subbrain.
And basically what the cigarettes do is that they're super strong, so they work as a pretty good chill thing for extended people so that they don't get the overload from all their extensions.
Yeah. And I think he says he doesn't need them at one point, that he just likes the way they taste. But I think he does need them because she basically makes him an off-brand with like the same sort of chemicals in it. Because he isn't extended, so... Because he even says, I'm having trouble moving. And that's not something you get from just...
he has trouble moving because he turned up his pain tolerance too high so that he could basically have that woman shoot him in the face and not be affected by it.
Yeah. But yeah, so he beats up the goons even after it looks like he's going to lose.
Because he has, like, blades in his back.
Yeah, and he's really, like, apparently he, like, he punched a train. He stopped the train with a punch, so he destroys these
Turns
fuckers.
out you need more than 4 goons to take down a highly engineered war machine.
And he had a sniper in place that he was going to have shoot Juzo, but turns out Mary caught wind of the whole thing and she took him out.
And she wears a panda mask.
Yeah, just to hide her identity. Mary is a really cool character.
I like Mary a lot.
Because she, like, kind of, like, jokes with Juzo, kind of, like, shits on him sometimes, but, like, still cares.
She's a good character, and she's very well written.
Because she's, like, at one point when he shows up, and because she constantly shits on him for the smoking and stuff, she's like, hey, I think I have some of your cigarettes you left here last time. He's like, really? And she's like, no, wait, I threw them out yesterday.
And he's super pissed. Because he's like, you
And she's like, well, I don't smoke. I don't know what you want.
Even when she makes him, like, the off-brand cigarettes, she's like, yeah, I put all the same chemicals in it, but I don't know what fucking cigarettes taste like, so I don't know. But he beats up the dudes, and the man in the purple suit takes the box of cigarettes with him.
Yeah.
Because he's like, why don't you take these with you and head back to your headquarters and let the higher ups know that I'm a big badass man.
And then he runs away with the cigarettes. He's like,
cigarettes.
no, I meant these, and he points to the goons.
That's not what I meant.
And then after she's there, and he's just like, thanks, Mary. And she's like, I put on a mask. Don't just call me by my name. I'm trying to hide my identity.
I don't want to get in this.
And she's like, oh, by the way, the kid woke up.
Bam.
And next week we'll get to see Tetsuo do more things, but as a regular person.
Yeah.
Also, I was telling Ian this earlier. I really like the ending.
The ending is very good.
It feels like a PS2 opening.
Yeah. You load up the PS2, you pop in your disc.
Game over!
I do like this song.
That's Game Over.
That's Game Over.
And it is made on the Unreal Engine because the logo for it pops up.
This is a show made with the Unreal Engine. Because I guess... Sure, whatever.
Why not? If you can.
Fuck it. Whatever. Shrug a little harder.
We should make this podcast on the Unreal Engine.
We should. Next episode will be released on the Unreal Engine.
Yeah.
Unreal Engine 4.
We can't. Come on. We have a budget. It's going to be the
Unreal
Unreal 3.
Engine 3. That's fine. It's still practical. It's got good developer tools.
Yeah. So... Thank you for being here with us this week.
Yes. We've got a lot of good shows. And if you'd like to hear us continue talking about these good shows.
Yeah, because, shit's going down, some of these.
Yeah.
What's going to happen when Tetsuo wakes up?
Follow us.
What's going to happen with Kufu's little lady?
Don't. No. Veto.
And we get to see what's going on with Byakuya next week in Dr. Stone 2.
That's true. I am anxious to see what happens with Byakuya.
Byakuya.
But feel free to follow us on all various sources of podcast media.
Yeah, we are on Twitter at Protagonist Seat, Facebook, same name.
We're on iTunes, we're on Spotify, we're on the Google Play, whatever the fuck that is.
Yeah, for this season, we're going to be on a lot more shit. Have you already uploaded the previous episode to it?
I have. I usually try to do it within the same day.
Cool.
Because it doesn't take that long.
All right, nice. So we're already. So if you want to listen to this episode on there, you can do that there.
Yeah.
But you're already at the end, so that would be weird. You can do that next week.
Yeah, do that with the next one. Also, feel free to, if you are listening on one of those forms of media, feel free to look us up on YouTube at the Protagonist seat.
Yeah, because we have like we mentioned earlier in the episode, the My Hero Academia thing is only going to be on YouTube.
We release special, additional, after hours, after class content YouTube.
We're all about content over quality here.
We're all about content over quality. Because this is not quality content.
It is content, though. No one can argue that.
No one can say this isn't content.
So yeah, check us out on YouTube, like, subscribe, ring the bell, all the yada yada yada.
Yeah, all that fun shit.
Yeah. And we'll see you next time.
Goodbye. This is where it ends.